Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's very exciting for me personally because it's my two worlds colliding. Lolita fashion and witchy. Back in June of this year, I had the pleasure of attending a Lolita convention in Kansas City known as Paradiso. Paradiso Symphonia to be exact. And there actually was a representative in the vendor hall of one of my very favorite brands. It's an indie brand out of South Korea and named after the creator, and it's called Haenuli. Haenuli is known for prints that have a lot of literary symbolism and content. It's very Art Nouveau in style, very luxurious and lustrous. I do have a dress that you may recognize from some of my other videos, but it is the Little Mermaid print. And I have the JSK in a blue. Some of my other favorite Haenuli prints are Crystal Guardian, Moon Jelly Princess, Enchanted Fawn, but she's probably most well known for The Story You Don't Know. There's also a graphic novel called Their Story, The Story You Don't Know. It's a skeleton and maiden dynamic, and the skeleton sort of represents a shadow self, a deeper knowing, maybe existentialism, and then the maiden represents us and our vantage point from the world that we live in. These two communicate together in a very loving and affectionate way, and it really resonates with me, trying to have that deeper connection with your shadow self or the unknown or the unknowable. And the corresponding print is just breathtaking. The bodice is actually a rib cage, and it's extremely iconic within the Lolita community. Like, usually you can spot that dress from across a room, and maybe someday I'll have that dress, but as with all Lolita fashion, it's a limited run. So they're very highly collectible pieces and they're very sought after. And lucky for us, Haenuli was not finished with that skeleton and maiden motif, and she actually pushed the idea further into a tarot deck. And that's where these sort of two worlds collide. So today I would like to not really do a review of the tarot deck because I'm not really an expert and I don't feel like I'm going to bring enough knowledge to you to be able to sway you one way or another about whether or not this is the right deck for you. But I just want to share with you this deck because I've really been enjoying it since I got it back in June. So without further ado, let's take a look at the deck. Let's first take time to appreciate the altar cloth that you can purchase with the deck. It has corresponding artwork, and you can use it as a card reading cloth. It's suede, so it has a perfect grip to hang on to the cards so they don't slide around. And it's also pretty thick and heavy duty, so it shouldn't slide around on your altar either. The design is screen printed with gold, and so far the screen printing has held up perfectly. There are no creases or cracks in the design with use. I also purchased this cloth bag at the time. It was maybe a little bit of a shopping spree, but I was just really so excited to see the Haenuli booth. And the bag is the perfect size to fit the cards, the book, and the altar cloth. This is everything I've purchased together. So you can see the cloth, the bag, the book, and the deck. Let's take a closer look at the deck. It, of course, comes in a sturdy cardboard box that has a magnetic clasp. It's got a really lovely velvety feel, and it's embossed with gold lettering. The deck is called the Wandering Spirit Tarot. And of course inside is a manual on the meaning of the cards. There's also a foreword from the artist. The meaning of each card is described with a picture of the corresponding card. There's a meaning given for upright and reverse, but of course the book admits, and we all know, that you can ascribe your own meaning to these cards. The cards do have gold edges, and they are embossed with a gold design on the back of each card, and the front of each card does have a gold element that's also embossed. It may seem very inconsequential, but if you bought a lot of tarot decks, like me, probably too many tarot decks, then you know that the size and shape of the cards are really important. They fit in your hand really nice, makes it easy to shuffle, makes them easy to hold. The cardstock has sort of a velvety texture, which makes them easy to grip onto but also pleasant to hold. They feel pretty sturdy. Let's get into the artwork. Every single card features both the skeleton and the maiden together. Now, the maiden is unclothed in every single piece, so if that is something you are not comfortable with, be forewarned. The artist explains that the girl and the skeleton featured in the tarot deck were created in the depths of depression and born out of tragedy. This is a direct quote from the handbook. She goes on to say, the purpose of the images was a way for me to grapple with my own loss, but it somehow connected with others as well, including those who looked fine on the outside, but had emptiness on the inside. That radical frankness has really guided me with my recent shadow work. Not only that, but this is the perfect deck for the Atheist Witch. She actually quotes a Japanese tarot reader named Lua, who talks about the fact that tarot cards are not magical and cannot curse you, and that they're simply a tool that gives you the opportunity to look deep inside yourself. Both the skeleton and the maiden are very nondescript. They're very open to interpretation, and that way they remain archetypes that we can assign our own meaning to, that we can project ourselves onto. The final piece is the Wandering Spirit Tarot art book. This is sort of a companion to the tarot deck, and while it's not at all necessary to purchase the book to be able to use the cards, the book does contain quite a bit of insight into the artist's motivations and feelings around the deck. As with the small instruction book that comes with the deck, there are some suggested spreads that you can use. I think the art book was worth picking up just for the bonus artwork, but it was really nice to see insights from the artist. She even shared some of the challenges when putting together the illustrations for the cards. Like she had imagined lots of different poses. Oftentimes the maiden and the skeleton are intertwined, so she would have to hire dancers to pose for reference images just to get everything anatomically correct. And also every single card has added information about the maiden and skeleton lore. I almost forgot to mention that there are also 4 bonus cards in this deck that were created by the artist. The bonus cards are Sweet Happiness, Little Trickster, Hope, and Console. My final thoughts are that I am really glad that I bought this deck. It's perfect for a skeptical atheist witch because it doesn't imply any sort of, divine sacred knowledge. Like, the artist is very straightforward about her inspirations, and it's just a very, very unique deck. And I don't regret buying all the additional things either. And, maybe that's a sunk cost fallacy where, I purchase them and there's no going back. But I'm really glad I have them and they've become part of my shadow work routine. Thank you for humoring me and letting me show off some of my worldly possessions. And I know that consumerism and capitalism can really muck up your practice. But once in a while, I feel like there is a tool or an item that you purchase and it really like scratches an itch. So thank you for indulging me. And till next time, bye bye.